Next up, since we're on this topic, we got to talk about this dumb motherfucker right here. H3H3. This guy put this video out. I have not watched it yet, but I want us all to watch it to see what he's talking about, because I said this quite some time ago, weeks ago, in fact, that H3H3 is going to fuck around and catch a defamation lawsuit. This is a fact. The thing about it is, I don't think that Andrew Tate gives a fuck enough to really go after him for the things he says. But if he wanted to, he could shit all over H3H3. And to make matters worse, knowing the things that H3H3 has said about Andrew Tate, it makes me, you know, it really tickles my fucking insides, because I know the crazy shit that H3H3 or Ethan Klein himself has said in the past. All of a sudden, that Twitch money came in, and he got real soft and shut the fuck up, which I'm noticing a lot about a lot of the content creators nowadays, especially Logan Paul. That's a whole nother fucking topic. That dude has zero right to ever talk about someone deserving being banned off of all social media platforms. If ever there was a motherfucker that deserved it, he is one of them. But what'd he do? Cried like a bitch. Oh my God. And now can't even speak his mind because YouTube and Susan got him caught by the nuts. They squeezing his motherfucking balls. He can't even speak his mind now. But anyway, let me go ahead and start this up. Got to kill the music. We'll watch this video and see what's what. Trying to get my tooth to quit bleeding. I got pulled 5. Oh, you still dealing with that shit. That's fact, bro. Like, it should like be healing up a lot more. If you've been using the gauze and everything else, and if they gave you anything alongside it, as long as you've been using that, it should be closing up after 5 days. It's crazy if it's not at least starting to. Or like if it's still like bleeding profusely. All right, let's check this out real quick. What is this guy's name even? Spencer Cornelia. Never seen his channel before, but let's run it.
Podcast is begging for a defamation lawsuit from Andrew Tate. Today we're going to cover all of the juicy details. Andrew isn't banned, he's in every H3 video. H3 has gone on the offensive against the most hated man on the planet.
Ultimately, what he advocates is for violence against women.
Yes.
Criticism against other creators is important and essential for creating the best environment for all, but we're going to analyze why H3 has stepped over the line and should be punished for it. On April 8th, 2022, Ethan began his attack on Andrew Tate while interviewing Brittany Broski.
So scary, actually.
Yeah, it's a little scary.
He's actually a sex trafficker, and that's epic.
Yeah. No, literally, this dude is like a...
Yo. That right there. I'd have gone after him for that right there. And you know what he calls sex trafficking? First off, it was the incident about the woman who was cheating on her boyfriend, lied to him because she was fucking Andrew's brother, Tristan. She was fucking his brother and a couple of other dudes while partying. She was seen leaving, going to pick up snacks, grabbing pizza, you know, when they delivered the pizza to the crib and shit for the party they were having, whatever. Niggas, grown ass been pizza parties, but broads be eating shit like that. Bitches love pizza and Chipotle. Let's keep it a stack. Pizza, Chipotle, and lies. That's what they love. But anyway, she was found to be lying. And yet, this man was making this claim right here. The other thing he called sex trafficking was the fact that Andrew ran the business that he ran, which was camming. He had a bunch of broads who worked for him, who made millions of dollars. And old Ethan here says that he was trafficking these women, had them in dungeons, and also what was the other thing he said? Essentially, exploiting those women. Now, I don't give a fuck who you are. As a grown-ass man, if you make that statement, you should be slapped. You can't exploit someone who's willingly doing a job and getting paid out the ass to do it. Let's let this keep running. I was trying not to pause so much, but this nigga's wild.
Deep-rooted misogynist, like scary.
His
and her, she just mad.
Unfounded.
She mad because she a big fatty who just can't get no dick.
Terrorism said the raid on the Tate's house was part of an investigation that began after a woman was reported to be held at the house against her will. As the
that was a lie.
It escalated to include other crimes. 5 days later, Ethan included another clip about Andrew Tate and what would become a reoccurring topic on his podcasts.
I was talking about our boy Cobra Tate. Cobra. We had such a fun time making fun of this guy.
Making jokes about someone as polarizing as Andrew Tate is innocent at what makes YouTube fun,
right?
But Ethan also became very comfortable calling him a criminal.
But they're obviously very bad dudes. They literally kidnap people. They're criminals.
I don't follow Andrew Tate, so I'm certainly not defending any of his rants in this video, but I think it's important to call out Ethan's behavior as crossing
kidnapping.
the line. It gets worse.
Also, what's interesting about my mind is that I made it by not human trafficking people, so that's a bonus for me, I think.
Nah, I gotta pause this. This shitbag makes his money screaming to groups of 12, 11, 10, 13-year-old boys saying the stupidest shit I have ever heard in my life. Some of the fucking conspiracy theories that come out of this mouth, this dude, I can't call him a man, out of this fucking porco's mouth. That's his new nickname to me. It's asinine. Absolutely asinine. The hot takes that come out of his mouth are hot and full of shit. Facts. He went so far as to bring a girl onto his platform who made the claim that the guys from Fresh and Fit, or one of the guys from there, had assaulted her. She didn't even make that claim. Ethan put the words in her mouth that it was an assault situation. In fact, she was chasing clout and she was lying through her fucking teeth the whole time. But guess what? Ethan didn't care because he just wanted to report something without doing any form of research, and he takes zero accountability for the bullshit that comes out of his mouth. I wish to God, bro, let's let this keep rolling.
On Tuesday, April 27, a spokesperson for the Romanian policy agency added that no one has been charged or arrested yet in the case, but that the investigation is ongoing.
And it ended up turned up
May 2nd, 2022, after the release of the news article stating no one had been convicted, yet Ethan's words indicate the Tates had been. To date, Ethan and the H3 podcast have talked about Andrew Tate in at least 22 separate podcasts.
Fucking views.
For a crew so interested in silencing him, they sure have given him a lot of free marketing. Ethan tweeted, "Dear free speech champions that defended Andrew Tate, tell me what you think about this. I just got a cease and desist letter from Andrew Tate. He demands I stop talking about him. Thoughts?" I think this brings up an important conversation around free speech, lawsuits, and where the line is drawn between YouTube commentary for laughs and defamation.
Yeah, so here's the expectation of what Cobra Tate does, and here's the reality. He's actually...
I'd whoop his ass for this alone. Like, there ain't no way you could ever put some shit like this out about me without me finding you and slapping the dog shit out of you. Not ever. Not ever. It'd have to go down. And what's so crazy about this is that this shitbag is mad because the dude says, well, look, fucking a 40, 50-year-old woman who has, in his mind, bad habits. Why not go and fuck with a 21, 22, 23-year-old female who doesn't have those bad habits and ain't been ran through like a fucking McDonald's drive-through? Bitch legal. It is what it is. Fuck it. She want to fuck with him? Fuck it. Because here's the fact. What Ethan doesn't seem to understand, because obviously Ethan doesn't understand women. Ethan ain't the type that's ever had many women in his fucking life. Let's keep it a stack. Ethan doesn't understand that those are the very women that chase this guy. He has money. He has clout. He has status. He did it all prior to ever being on social media. The dude's got more bread than Ethan could ever hope to accumulate. And it's almost like there's some bitter-ass hatred the nigga has for him. he can't take what the reality of life is. He subscribes to the bullshit that all women are always right and men are shit. How can you be that much of a fucking cuck to hate yourself for even being a man? Let's let it keep going.
Oh, he like I said, he grooms, he gets them young.
Grooming. Look at that shit.
Just like
let's use a trigger word. Grooming.
Webcam get thing.
Where does the line get drawn between colorful, funny commentary for humor and defamation of character? Because that clip, to me, crossed the line. Saying he grooms kids to become sex workers in his business is not exactly just an opinion. Even if you
and that's
Andrew
the problem
Tate,
is that every one of those women
that you
who
want
did
to live
that
in a world
job,
where someone can't make baseless
they
criminal
were
accusations
grown-ass
to
women
this extent
who
against
wanted
you
to do it,
without paying a penalty.
who wanted to
Freedom
get
of
bread.
speech is a principle that supports the freedom of an individual or a community to articulate their opinions and ideas without fear of retaliation, censorship, or legal sanction. I can post videos about a bad experience at a restaurant stating my opinion why I thought the food tasted poorly, but I can't start making false criminal accusations about the chef and why the food will cause cancer if your kids eat it. Defamation is the communication of a false statement that harms the reputation of another. There is no such thing as a false opinion or idea. However, there can be a false fact, and these are not protected under the First Amendment.
I don't understand that. They're like, no, they kidnapped us and forced us into prostitution. They're like, okay, cool, well, you know, go have a fun time, guys.
What's crazy is that that's a fucking lie. He's talking about two totally different scenarios and trying to combine them into one. It's nuts.
At the time of this clip, the news was fresh and the investigation was underway, which allows for a lot more leniency in the determination of facts. On August 25th, 2022, I happened to stumble on this video of Tim Dillon as a guest on the H3 podcast discussing Andrew Tate.
If you take into context also that he's done sex trafficking, does it change your opinion?
Well, listen, 100% if he's doing sex trafficking, well, then that's...
Notice how they make the claim that it is a known fact that Andrew Tate is a human trafficker. He has not been convicted of a crime, therefore it is not a statement of fact. Therefore, what they are saying is defamatory. A day prior, Andrew released a 73-minute video which includes a detailed account of the accusations surrounding the trafficking story.
I do not like false accusations of criminal activity. That's another thing that I really do not like.
The following day, H3 released a stream titled Andrew Tate Cries and Begs for Forgiveness. Ethan Enters the Metaverse After Dark number 81, where they react to Tate's final message.
And here's what I know. Before this guy even says this, Ethan didn't watch the video. I know this for a fact. They didn't even watch the video. And I actually did get to sit down and watch this video and then a portion of Ethan's video. I know for a fact he didn't watch this. And everything that Andrew Tate says is very clear and concise and to the point as to what the reality of the situation is versus what people want to say.
Message video.
I guess it's not even necessarily a supercut. It's there's some parts that are relevant to us that
I was thinking for
all right, well, 3 minutes. That's about all I can stomach of this.
3 minutes.
I was watching their video, just curious what they had to say until this next clip played and I nearly lost my mind.
Recently rebuilt an entire orphanage because there's an orphanage problem in Romania. I did this.
They didn't build an orphanage. Shut up. The Tate Foundation? That's probably just a funnel for sex trafficking.
Let me stop.
Sounds like something the FBI should look into.
Yeah.
For real.
This man has an orphanage?
Okay.
Can we please alert the authorities?
Making me nervous.
I was disgusted to hear how they interpreted this situation. Do you understand how insane your mind has to be to hear that someone privately had an orphanage and he's using it to commit heinous crimes against children? Assuming Tate can prove that his orphanage is not being used for the crimes alleged by Ethan, I think Ethan should be held liable for significant damages.
Messages of thank yous from the children and the woman who's running it. I did this months ago, before anybody disliked me. I didn't even tell anybody. I just rebuilt an orphanage.
Yeah, and a bunch of people actually said this about him.
Didn't try and put it on the internet and get a good spin from it. Didn't try to get likes.
What upset me just as much is that H3 didn't even have the respect to watch his entire video.
They were like, these are people not associated with his family.
Cut out
they were like, we knew this, but he never wanted it out there.
I find it very hypocritical when these hate mobs come and say I'm a bad person, when I'm the one who's out here spending his money and time trying to help the world. And all they're doing is telling their followers to insult me on my Instagram page. Which one of those two things has a genuinely positive effect on humanity?
This type of behavior by H3 is disgusting. I like them, but I don't agree with the way they're handling this. I don't want to live in a world where someone can make such insane defamatory remarks that millions of people see and not face any repercussions.
All right, well, 3 minutes, that's about all I can stomach of this.
Additionally, if you're going to ruin someone's reputation, at least have the decency to do 1 hour's worth of research.
My house was raided by police under accusations that a woman was being held kidnapped.
In a defamation lawsuit, the defendant is found liable if there is malice and there's a complete disregard of the truth. If Ethan were to get sued, he would have to provide proof as to why he came to the conclusion that Tate is a human trafficker, along with all of his other claims like grooming children like he was R. Kelly, because he and Gila have been stating it as fact. In Tate's final message video, he shared the camera footage of the police investigation and claimed the accusations were false.
Turned up and investigated as they should, and they found out that it was completely false. That nobody was kidnapped, nobody was held against their will. I was not charged. I was not released on bail. I have no criminal charges.
She lied to her dude.
Any country on the planet. I have no accusations against me for hurting women. And people are still on the internet saying, he's a human trafficker, the Romanian police are trying to get him in trouble for human trafficking. That's not true.
Ethan is absolutely liable for defamation damages if Andrew decides to sue. Until further evidence or reporting comes out, the H3 podcast has shown a complete disregard of the truth.
I ain't even lying.
A tweet that included defamatory remarks towards Andrew. Whether you like Tate or not is completely besides the point. This is a really important matter because we should all want to live in an environment where if someone makes false, heinous criminal accusations against someone, then they should face adequate consequences.
And I've said this many times, but people continue to ignore it and continue to purport the lie, because that's how the internet works, right? They continue to just keep pushing the lie because it gets more clicks, or because they personally don't like me and they want to use it as an excuse to pretend I'm a bad person.
I don't know. Listen, what he's doing, if it's human trafficking, 100%, that's
There's no if.
That's it.
I
know nothing about that.
Yeah.
And if I had actually hurt anybody, the Romanian police would have me in jail, because they are a nation.
She doubled and tripled down on it.
With a strong legal system, and they would lock me up. They have not done that, because I am completely and utterly innocent. They investigated as they should and came to the correct conclusion that there's nobody here and this was a false call, a false alarm.
Well, he also does like his whole Hustler University is on like a pyramid scheme.
Oh my God, you run a pyramid scheme, dude!
Bruh.
Operating a pyramid scheme is illegal and is a felony, which you could argue is another false criminal accusation made by Hila. I made a video detailing why HU isn't a pyramid scheme. It wasn't that complicated to find out with just the minimum amount of effort. When you're a defendant in a defamation lawsuit, you need to present evidence why you made defamatory statements.
What do you guys think?
What
do
was
you,
your source?
do you all
How
think
reliable
that he
do you
should
consider
fucking
that source? And what evidence do
go
you
after
have
H3H3?
to justify your claims? H3 never joined Hustlers University. They don't have any sources. They haven't interviewed one victim of this alleged pyramid scheme, even though it would be millions of views. They have all the incentives in the world to interview all these victims of Andrew Tate's pyramid schemes and his other behavior, but haven't. Their only proof for the HU being a pyramid scheme is some people had an affiliate link, just like every other product every creator promotes.
It's worth noting, first of all, they put a 24-hour deadline on this to remove all offending content.
Andrew hasn't officially sued, but I'm fascinated to see if he does. H3 has won a couple of defamation lawsuits already, but I'm very curious to see him fight this case. It feels like H3 has plenty of ammo with the numerous videos Tate has produced sharing his extreme opinions, but none of that really matters in this specific case. They've essentially stated he's a criminal of certain acts without evidence, and the case would revolve around their ability to prove he's a convicted criminal of the specific crimes they're alleging he committed.
Anyone that was following this knows that Andrew Tate has been crying about his right to free speech.
Ethan, this is not hard to comprehend. Freedom of speech does not include defamation.
I was taken from my house. They came into my house at 5 p.m. They did a forensic search, as they should. At 8 p.m., the search concluded. They took me from my house at 8 p.m. for paperwork at the police station, and by 9:21, I was back home. And that was the end of it. Nothing's happened since. No woman's come forward. Nobody's hurt. Nothing.
I am the free speech king, and I declare that here and now.
I'm pretty disappointed to hear that Ethan...
Bro, what the fuck, man? That dude is a fucking clown. Such a fucking clown.
And doesn't understand the concept of the First Amendment not protecting against defamation. It's not exactly complicated. H3 has featured or mentioned Andrew Tate in at least 22 separate episodes. I'm not a member of the Manosphere Red Pill world, so certainly don't take this video as a ringing endorsement of Andrew Tate's reputation, but I think it's important that we as creators maintain some decency towards each other in regards to criminal accusations. If Andrew's attorney is competent, I think this is a pretty easy case to win.
I am your king, your ruler.
You know, that's enough of that. That fucktard. Like, I can't. That's a good video. That's a good video. Yeah, no, yes. Let me know what you think if he should fucking sue for defamation and go after him, because he has a hell of a claim. A hell of a claim on so many levels, because there's no proof backing anything that Ethan says. To make matters worse, Ethan has a history of doing that very thing. Where there's a history, it builds a stronger case. It really does. If you don't know that, it's very easy to see. Criminal history builds stronger case. In this matter, it may not be a criminal history, but there's certain essentially doing something over and over and over again is what's building that history, that rap sheet for him. And that's what he does in these instances. And he makes a total fucking ass of himself, but on some level believes that he is holier than thou and can justify the things that he says. Even though I can pull up all of Ethan's fuck-offs and say just how much of a shitty human being he is, and how he's a misogynist, and how he hates women, and how he'd like to actually do the R word to women. And you think I'm joking about that, or beat a woman's ass, and if you think I'm being defamatory about it, well, I'm not. Because guess what? It's all over the internet. Ethan said it himself. But somehow he wants to shit on the character of an individual who, hate him or not, speaking some facts. That's all there is to it. Yeah, let me know what you all think about that. Anyway, so let's go ahead and switch over to something a little bit lighter before we get into the gaming. There was a React video. Oh, no.